Hello everyone, welcome to EPM 4355, the ISO 14001 standards class. This is an overview of the class activities. In our class we're going to have three primary activities: discussion threads, midterm examination, and a final case study paper. Our discussion threads are worth 60% of the grade. They're essentially mini papers, 250 to 350 words, including in-text citations and references in Turabian format. The midterm examination is worth 20% of the grade. It is challenging. There's a study guide available and you have 4 hours to complete it. The final case study paper makes up the final 20% of your grade. It's the development of an environmental analysis of a small business, and you're going to be developing a set of aspects, impacts, and objectives using the 14001 framework as guidance. The final project is a team project. You're going to be assigned teams in the first week. There's usually at least 2 teams in the class, the blue team and the gold team. If we have enough people, we're going to have 4, the silver and the crimson. During the first week, you're going to prepare a team charter, and the membership will shift depending on who drops the class. We usually have a few people drop during the first week, so the membership may shift a little bit, but just hang in there and it should be solidified by the end of week 1 after the drops are complete. Just know that you're going to have to work together to create the final paper. Here are some tips for success for your team experience. The first thing to do is develop a clear team charter. Make sure that everybody understands their roles and possible barriers and that you're dealing with them on a regular basis. Set up weekly meetings. This is very important. You want to have a meeting at least once a week and include a milestone that you're going to discuss at the meeting and meet them. No slackers are allowed. Everyone must participate. To be successful, your team has to have full participation. What we don't want to have is a situation where the project manager ends up doing everything at the very last minute. You're not going to get a good paper if that happens. Over communicate in your teams. Use threads, emails, Skype, file exchange, all the different tools that are available to you. And finally, communicate often and regularly. Make sure that you're in touch, that you're having weekly meetings, that you're setting goals and milestones, and that you're meeting them. The discussion threads are a primary part of the class. You're going to be making 3 posts minimum each week. Each post is worth, each week's participation is worth 60 points. Times 10 weeks is 600 points. So this is a core part of the class, 60% of your grade. The discussion posts are research-oriented mini papers on each topic. You must make your first post by Thursday of each week. Your initial post should be 250 to 350 words, and all of your posts, especially the first one, must contain in-text citations and references. The goal here is to illustrate how you are applying the concepts and ideas from the class by citing your source and including a reference. The discussion threads are where most of the class learning will take place, so make sure that you're active, you participate regularly, and you respond to at least 2 of your colleagues' postings. The midterm examination, I'm not going to fool you, it is difficult. There are 5 questions worth 40 points each for a total of 200 points. This is a tough exam because it requires both conceptual and critical thinking. The exam, rather than having you spit back information you can read, focuses on the meaning of and the relationships among the different elements of the standard. So what you are going to be writing about is how all the pieces fit together, what the purposes are from an environmental management viewpoint, and how the different processes support effective environmental management. You're going to have 4 hours to complete the exam. Most people have completed it in about 3. Usually takes at least 3 hours to do this, so it's a very significant effort. Save your exam often. I recommend that you save it about every 5 minutes and use a word processor to compose your responses and then copy them to the exam questions. Again, this is going to be probably the toughest part of the class. It is a critical thinking and a conceptual thinking exam. So follow the study guide. Make sure you understand each topic and how the topics relate to the 14,001 framework. The final analytical paper is worth 200 points. It's focused on environmental planning, developing aspects, impacts, and objectives for a case study. What you're going to do is actually take part in an ISO 14001 based EMS effort using the predefined policy considerations and the other elements of the case study. So you're applying the 14001 planning requirements, so you understand what they are, to the fictional case study. And by doing so, you're going to understand these requirements in greater detail. These are some of the toughest requirements of the standard to understand, yet they offer a tremendous value when you learn how to assess an organization from a process-based viewpoint. And in your assessments, make sure that you assess both positive and negative impacts. In this case study, there are positive impacts as well as negative, so make sure you address them all. Here are the milestones, sort of core milestones for your final paper. You're going to assign your initial tables and diagrams for analysis. Who's going to do what? You're going to develop them, populate the tables and diagrams, and then integrate them. Make sure how they all fit together. Develop a set of objectives, and then you're going to review and revise your analysis and then write your final paper. Where the teams have fallen down in the past is in these 3 steps that are highlighted in red. Everybody can usually get the initial data and develop the tables and the diagrams. The real difficulty comes in integrating these tables and diagrams and developing a set of objectives, because this is where working together becomes essential. You have to work together to get consensus on what's significant, what's not significant, and provide traceability throughout your entire analysis back to the core processes of the organization. Also, your review and revision of the analysis is another step. This requires coordination among the team members. This is why I'm stressing communication, weekly meetings, and milestones. You can use these as a set of milestones initially if you want. They're good, as good as any. You'll probably have some other ones here, but you should start working on this case study from the very first part of the class. Now, don't wait until halfway through. You'll never get it done. There's just too much work. So start in week 2. Assign the tables, get them going, get the analysis. Week 3 here. Week 4, maybe week 5, integrate. Week 6, set of objectives. Week 7 and 8, review, revise. Weeks 9 and 10, write the final paper, review it, and edit it. So this is a good structure for developing your project. There are 3 class texts that are required by block. The first one, effective implementation of ISO 14001. Another one by block, identifying aspects and impacts. And the ISO 14001 2015 standard. I've arranged with the American National Standards Institute, so you can get the copy of the standard free along with 2 other related standards. These standards are normally $200 a piece, so you're getting $600 worth of standards for free. These books are out of print, unfortunately, but the ebooks are still in print. So you can find the ebooks. You may be able to get a used copy of these on Amazon or somewhere if you want to have a hard copy, but the ebooks are still available. We have 4 guidance documents: the ISO 14004 guidance, the NSF guide, the annex, which is the second part of the standards, and then there's another guidance document that I may include. We'll see. I'm reviewing it right now. We'll see if we want to include it. These three guidance documents, and possibly the fourth, will help to interpret and apply the 14,001 requirements. The standard specifies what is required. The guidance tells you how to apply it. Study strategies for the class. Again, these are tips for success. Make sure that you log in and participate as often as possible. Post early in the week and post often, even though your posts aren't due till Thursday. Get them in there early. Make every post meaningful. 250 to 350 words. Again, citing your sources and using references. Keep up with the reading. There's quite a bit of reading here. Make sure you have Office 2013, 2016. It's available for free to all DU students. Contact the UTS Help Desk and they'll tell you how to download it. Communicate with your team members and stay focused on your milestones. This is really important. Don't stray. Don't allow your team members to stray. Keep everyone working together and you'll produce a successful final project. Spend time in the electronic resources of the Penrose Library. Well, Penrose doesn't exist anymore. We'll call them university libraries. Make sure that you go into the library and do your research in there. There's tremendous amount of resources available to you. You'll find just about anything that exists out there in the world in terms of documents, professional journals, peer-reviewed journals, every newspaper in the world that you have a subscription to. So take advantage of that resource. It's tremendous. Post any questions you have in the instructor office threads and ask questions if you don't understand. Because if you don't understand, the likelihood is that someone else also doesn't understand. You can print out the lecture slides, take notes on them as we go through the class. I'll include a copy of these. That can be a valuable resource for you. So good luck with the class, and we will see you online.